Okay, thank you very much. I think that you have seen the work that we've done for not just Honorable Scala and Honorable Godfrey Stole, but also for the Nyatsime 16. We've appealed to all who can to be able to come together so that we resolve this issue, because these champions have become victim of a captured judiciary. We believe that the judiciary must be able not to be a cheerleader on cases of abuse of the law, but they must be able to guarantee the rights of ordinary people, irregardless of where they belong. The law must not be weaponized against political opponents. We read about it in the history of our country. We read about it in the history of oppressive regimes across the world. And we don't think that Zimbabwe, as a constitutional democracy, must be able to continue in that particular path. We are going, obviously, or to answer succinctly on that, we have begun an engagement. I'm sure you're going to be reading in the newspapers, engagement with members of the civil society, members of the church, students, and different sections of society around the collective way forward that Zimbabwe must take, particularly in the light of deepening political crisis, which manifests itself through closure of democratic space, weaponization of the law, and of course weaponization of bail itself as a weapon against members of the opposition. You know what, Gajena, who stole funds and is visible, is investigated by state agencies, but Wajajgena is working scot-free. We read in the newspaper that he's also requesting his passport so that he can continue with his visits across the world. It's clear that the law is now, in fact, what we see is that there is a law for ZANU-PF and the law for the rest of us. It's an animal farm kingdom, and that must be resolved. And that takes every Zimbabwean to collectively come together so that we resolve this. I have been in prison myself. You have seen members in the rank and file of the alternative coming in and out of the courts. You have seen state prosecutors running hook, line, and sinker to try and make sure that they thwart. You have seen what happened to Honorable Joanna Mumumbe, Cecilia Chimbire, and others. There's a clear, deliberate agenda and attempt to try and scare us, dismember us, and make sure that we demobilize from participating in this democratic struggle. Against all odds, the leadership collective of the Citizens Coalition for Change will remain vigilant and committed to this struggle. And let me say it here and now, there is no struggle without bruises, there is no struggle without pain. We committed ourselves knowing fully well the cost of fighting a vicious authoritarian dictatorship. But we do so with commitment and vigilance, knowing that history will record that when the repressive apparatus of the state turned against us, we never wavered, we never did that. So we continue to fight. And we know very well that our comrades are going to rejoin with their families. We're doing everything necessary to make sure that they get their freedom. Thank you.
Okay, a follow-up to that one. I want to know what happened to Moreblessing Ali's remains, because the family said no burial until Job Scala has been released. So where is the body? Who is incurring the tragedy?
Yeah, that is the tragedy of the crisis in Nyatsime, because Moreblessing Ali, when she was murdered, Honorable Job Scala was appointed by the family to become the official lawyer and the spokesperson of the family. And they had been handling these cases, and we hope that the family might be able to find a way so that they communicate to the world. But we know, as you know, that the family had said we're not going to go ahead with the burial until Honorable Job Scala, who is the family lawyer, is released from prison. We have not yet any further shift from the family, and you know that Moreblessing Ali was our champion, and the family has its own cultural views that we stick to, and we don't want to intervene around that. What we know is that Moreblessing Ali, may her soul rest in power, is a victim of the state that has turned against its own children, which is a worrying trend. That's why we're making engagement with different regional and international bodies so that we resolve this. We don't believe the next government of this country that anyone must lose their life on account of politics. People must be allowed to differ and differ with us politically without them being victims of state organs being unleashed to them. Thank you. Okay, I think I'll take the last two questions.
Okay, there have been suggestions of a political dialogue instead of pursuing pursuing the court process with regards to the Nyatsime and Job Scala and story. What is your position on that?
Okay, you have another question?
Yes, I wanted to ask you, You seem so determined to participate in next year's elections. Are you not worried about the safety of your members with the escalating violence in the country?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. We have said we don't believe that we must interfere with the courts as a matter of principle, because the court and the judiciary in particular bear the responsibility to guarantee the rights and freedom of ordinary people. Those who suggest that we must go and kneel down and pray, some political elites, they've got their own reasons, and I think you can engage them on their views on that. Our position is very clear. We believe that there must be sanity within the judiciary so that we guarantee the freedom of our people, and we are going to use whatever is necessary within our powers to make sure that we guarantee the freedom of our champions. We don't get to surrender our struggle on account of certain difficulties that face us, because we must focus on the central strategic objective of the National Democratic Revolution. Thank you. The question around participating in election. Look, we have defined our method of struggle as an electrocentric approach, but we have to provide a buffer against rising political tensions. That's why we have started engagement, because part of our key discussions with different partners is going to be around community protection. We think that we must take a step to make sure that we protect our people, to make sure that we fork out violent elements, and make sure that we surrender them to the law enforcement agencies and protect our people. Because we're not going to continue crying foul going forward. We have to protect ourselves and find methods within the law to make sure that our people are not vulnerable to state-sponsored repression and violence. Thank you very much, members of the Fourth Estate, fellow Zimbabweans. This is the end of our press brief. Thank you. Have a good week.